What's up, people? Today is December 29th, 2020. Today is a very special day for me. Why? Because today, this is my 100th video that I'm uploading to YouTube. It's been 2 to 3 years that we've been uploading videos, and we finally came across our 100th video. But today is not just a special day because we're uploading our 100th video, but also because today, December 29th, is my birthday. Today, I turned 35 years old. So, for my 35th birthday, this is what I'm doing for myself. I'm paying off my mortgage for my 35th birthday. Yeah, that's a good present for myself, huh? Not making a mortgage payment, but I'm actually paying off my mortgage. Today will be the last mortgage payment I will ever make to the bank. Starting next year, January 2021, I will no longer receive bank statements or mortgage payments from my bank, because I've always applied extra money towards the principal. This gold has been a secret I've been holding for a long time. My mortgage term is a 30-year mortgage term, but I wanted to pay off my mortgage way faster than that. I really wanted to pay it off in half of the time, which would have been 15 years. But due to I had got another job, I started making more money, I had opportunity to do so much overtime, and I got bonuses from the job. I always applied my extra money towards the principal. Even when we had the property rented out, even though the tenant was paying me more money than I was paying to my mortgage, I didn't take the extra money and spend it. I took the extra money and I applied it to the principal. So not only was the tenant paying my mortgage for me, but they were giving me extra money due to what I was charging them with rent, and the extra money that I was getting from them, I was applying it directly to the principal. And due to the fact that I was no longer staying here, I also pretended in my mind that if I was staying here and I continued to pay extra on the principal. So I didn't take the extra money and go spend it and just find another liability to just go spend my money on. I took that money and I applied it to the principal. People know me, I'm very impatient. So to sit there and pay for 30 years is something I really didn't want to do. And another thing is, I really wanted to have something of tangible asset to pass down to my kids. And the one thing we know, and the one thing I know, you cannot pass nothing down to your kids if you don't own it. Like, I don't think a lot of people get that, but I really get it, and it really sticks in my head. It has always been my goal to go from a renter to a buyer to an owner. Yes, majority of people, when they first leave their parents' house, they go pay rent, and that's what I did. We moved directly into an apartment. I don't even know how long we was there. Let's say 3, 4, 5, 6 months. But it was just something inside me. I don't like paying rent. I feel like I'm paying for somebody else to be rich. If I'm going to pay something, I just prefer to pay mortgage. But you know, everything is steps. You know, you go from rent and then you buy a home. But most people stop at buying a home. What you want to do is own that home. If you own it, you can pass it down to your kids. If you own it, you don't have to worry about somebody else trying to take it from you. No matter how long you pay these people, on time, banks are not your friend. You can sit there and pay them for 25 years. And the day that something happens to you and you can't pay them no more, they will take that property back. It is business. They are not your friends. And I understand that. I remember in like 2008, 2009, when the economy went down, and I think around that time we had a recession. And I just remember seeing a lot of people on the news like, man, I've been living here for 20 years and I grew up in this house and my dad passed this house down, or my mom and my grandparents passed this house down to me, but they don't own it. You might live there and they can't pass it down to you if they didn't own it. You can live there and you can do all the renovations you want, but until you own that property, you giving the bank power that they can take that property away from you. And that's how I look at it. I don't want to be busting my butt my whole life, and at the end of the day, the bank comes back and takes the house away from me because I missed a couple of payments. I know a lot of people might be like, yeah, but it's a tax deduction at the end of the year on the interest that you're paying. That is true, but I'm paying interest to the bank anyway. So if it's going to add up, I'd rather just not pay interest to the bank, and I'd rather own it, and I'll skip that tax deduction at the end of the day. And like I said, it's very important to me for my life to pass things to my kids. Something that's like is passing wealth down. The Bible says a good father leaves an inheritance for his children's children. And when I look at it like that, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to go against what everybody else is saying. And I'm going to focus, and I'm going to pay this property off so I can pass it to my kids. And hopefully they could pass it to their kids. And nobody will be able to take it from them. Unless they don't pay their taxes. You got to pay your taxes with these properties. You can pay off your property all you want, which is a great thing. But remember, pay those taxes. If you stay in the United States and you don't pay your taxes, the government will put a lien on your property. So you can't run away from that. We can't do nothing about that. You have to pay taxes. You can't do nothing about it. But other than that, don't give the bank that much responsibility. If you can afford to make extra payments, make extra payments. Matter of fact, I know you can afford to make extra payments. You got to cut back on something, because the bank give you a loan off of what you can't afford. And just because they give you the secret is too, just because you're qualified for $400, $500, $300,000, $200,000, you don't have to necessarily buy a house that costs $200,000 or $300,000. That was one secret that we did. Even though we was qualified for like $400,000, we lived within our means. I didn't care what the bank was talking about. Yeah, you can afford this. Yeah, thank you. But I ain't even, if you saying I can afford that, then I know I can really afford less. And I live within my means. I wasn't trying to keep up with people. What the Bible says, a great father leaves an inheritance for their children's children. That was a different time. Now we're in a whole different time where it's not just about fathers. You got great mothers out there. Leave an inheritance, property, life insurance, businesses, assets, something that would benefit them in the long run. Another great saying from the Bible, this is another reason I do not like debt. The Bible says the borrower is a slave to the lender. Meaning when you borrow money, you're a slave to the person you're borrowing money from. I do not like being a slave to anybody. So at the end of the day, by choice, you choosing to keep overspending, you choosing to continue to be in debt. You're gonna continue to choose to be a slave. Like, you're gonna continue to have to work forever to pay these people off. You will never be able to pay off everybody because you keep accumulating more debt. Stop the curse of being financially irresponsible, and we can start the blessing of being financially responsible. We can start the blessing by picking up books and just passing it to our kids, reading it with our kids, or making our kids read out loud to us. My book is a very easy book for kids to read. My son reads it to me, and I love when he reads it to me because he asks questions. Of course, it's our life, and he sees why I do what I do. He's still young. He's only 11 years old. But he reads it out loud, and he asks a lot of questions. If my son was here, he'd tell you what credit card debt is. You know what's so funny? My son said this one thing, and this had nothing to do with the video. We're just doing something, and we was right here. And he said, "Dad, you know I'll do anything for you?" And I looked at him. I said, "Yeah, anything, Troy. You said that now because you're young." He said, "Yeah, Dad, I'll do anything for you. But you know what I won't do for you, Dad? I won't cosign for you. I won't cosign for nobody." So he's 11 years old, and he knows what cosigning is because I stressed to him the importance of having good credit. He's 11 years old, and he already knows to don't cosign for nobody, not even his dad. He ain't gonna never have to cosign for me, but I hope he will. But he's listening. So kids are listening. So even if you don't get this book, man, they got so much great books out there. You have to expand your mind when it comes to finances. You can't wait for a movie to inspire you. You can't wait for a commercial to inspire you. These people live off of us spending our money and being consumers. So this is an easy read book. It's available on Amazon. If not this book, you got Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. That's like I can't say it's the number one, but it's one of the most popular financial books that's out there. Before I read that book, I didn't even know what assets was and liabilities. All I know before I read that book, that after I read it, I had nothing but liabilities around me because we was never taught on how to or what to do with our money. We was never taught that in school. All we was taught was to go get a job and that's it. And go get that's it. That's all school said. Go get a good job. They never told you what to do with your money because they want you to be a consumer. So at the end of the day, after reading that book, now I know what asset and liability is. Assets bring money in your pockets. Liabilities take money out of your pockets. So you're always going to have liability there, but what the goal is to do is to have more assets help you pay for your liabilities or have your assets pay for liabilities. But I wouldn't know that if I never picked up a book and read it. Television do not show you these things. And if they do, they give you a little glimpse, and the rest of the day, the 23 hours and 59 minutes, is for you to be a consumer because they need you to purchase their products. But they just give you 1 minute of, hey man, save your money. If they even do that. But anyway, people, financial freedom mindset, we all can do it. Enjoy your day. Pass the video. Make a comment. Make a like. You dislike it, it's all good. It's my birthday and I'm happy to be here and I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my day. So see you guys later. Anyway, people, my little birthday cake for me and my family to share. Just a quick video. Happy 35th birthday. No more mortgage payments. Today was the last day that I made my mortgage payment and I wanted to make sure I made it a special day. So even though it's my birthday, I still have I still have gift for my kids, so they'll forever remember this. So in the future, they can do this themselves and pay off their mortgage early, and they can pass it to their kids. And that's what the goal is. Ready to eat, Troy?
Yeah.